Welcome to our Wednesday meditation service. The word for today is the sun shines around me and within me. Just like the sun, there is brightness and warmth within me. Sometimes the clouds of pessimism and doubt obscure this light, and the coldness of resentment and unforgiveness temper my warmth. But the sun within me never stops shining. As I clear the clouds through faith and forgiveness, my divine light breaks through, blessing me as well as all those I need and meet. Tonight we're going to be doing the Tibetan bowls. Each bowl begins as a molten mixture of the special 7 sacred metals. It takes 3 to 4 people to hammer each bowl. One holds the hot metal with blacksmith tongs, while 2 or 3 others alternate hammering and chanting, infusing the bowl with healing intentions, even as it's being created. Bowls typically range in size from 3 inches to 14 inches in diameter, but can also be larger or smaller. So they're geared to the 7 chakras. So there's a pattern that I will be doing. So get comfortable. If you want to lay down on the pew, you're welcome to, but just be let your body go. Let your body go. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. There are just two essential definitions of life that our minds may or may not trust. But there are two, and eventually the mind awakens to that fact. And then eventually the mind awakens to the reality of the one. The one definition of life is duality, in which the mind perceives itself as separate from all other beings, all other phenomena. And so it perceives itself as being alone in a world of separate conditions and circumstances which do not necessarily have its personal self-interests at heart. The other definition is the oneness, or the at-one-ment, as A Course in Miracles refers to it. And the at-one-ment recognizes that everything is interconnected and opens up to that reality. And in opening up to that reality, alleviates all useless, unnecessary suffering. That is just the way it is. In the book of John, we have an illustration of our interconnectedness to the source. I'll share that with you now. Using the tree of life as a symbol of the divine one in all, through all. This is the book of John, chapter 15, verses 1 to 5. I am the tree, I am the true tree, and my Father is one with me. Every branch of mine that bears no fruit, he takes away, and every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes, that it may bear more fruit. You are already made clean by the word which I have spoken to you. Abide in me, and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the tree, neither can you unless you abide in me. I am the tree, you are the branches. He who abides in me, and I in him, he it is that bears much fruit, for apart from me you can do nothing. I'll read that again. I am the true tree, and my Father is the one with me, is one with me. Every branch of mine that bears no fruit, he takes away, and every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes, that it may bear more fruit. You are already made clean by the word which I have spoken to you. Abide in me, and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the tree, neither can you unless you abide in me. I am the tree, you are the branches. He who abides in me, and I in him, He it is that bears much fruit, for apart from me, you can do nothing. To resist this definition of life is to spend your perceptions in different levels of conflict and suffering. So we talk about a kingdom of heaven. We talk about salvation. And in some ways, because of our limited experience in the initial state of consciousness, we suppose that they're separate and far away from the present life that we are living. This isn't so. What is necessary is for us to recognize that we can have that harmony, that peace, that joy, that prosperity in this present moment of life. But to do it, we have to remove the limited levels of thinking, limited concepts we have been living in from the time we were born. The limited level of thinking that has actually been propagated by the world in which we find ourselves. So, it is necessary for us to realize that the initial state of consciousness in which we were born was a beginning level of consciousness. We grew up becoming involved in dualistic thinking in relationship to our personal body awareness. And so, naturally, we had to create defenses, we had fears, we had concerns. We did so many things to try to protect ourselves from a seeming or inconsiderate world of separate others and phenomena. So then, it is incumbent upon us to begin to realize that this particular awareness of life, this duality, this alone idea of me as a personal body-mind is an illusion. It is not true. Everything is, in fact, interconnected. To recognize that in full is to enter a completely new dimension of awareness. And of course, it's referred to as the promised land, nirvana, heaven, whatever you want to, many, many ways of referring to this more pristine, beautiful, harmonious level of awareness. But it is not some distant heaven beyond us, beyond the stars or somewhere else. It is in the recognition of the consciousness divine in every given moment. Yet the branch on this tree believes itself to be separate. In fact, it believes itself to be a self-initiating entity, not recognizing its necessary relationship to the tree. So this is an excellent illustration. In fact, all that the branch is, from the time it is but a bud to all it will become, derives from the essential nature of the tree and its root system. That's why it is a perfect illustration. All that the branch is from the time it was but a bud to all it will become, derives from the essential nature of the tree. For a branch to resist or reject the essential nature of the tree is the cause of all useless, unnecessary suffering. By awakening to the awareness that there is one life and one intelligence and one power in all as potential is the calling to enlightenment. To recognize there is one intelligence, one life, one power. In unity we say one presence in all. And it is what we refer to as God. And that God is good and only good. To live free of the illusion of separation and duality, we need to take to task our own conditioned awareness, long conditioned by limited thoughts, fears, concerns, and definitions of life. That's just the way it is. When you talk about salvation, you say, what is salvation? What are we saved from? We are saved from the limited illusionary perceptions of human experience. And they're everywhere. And we participate in them until we awaken, until we actually take to task our own limited thinking, perception, judgment, projections, and fears. So we should look at the way the apostle refers to this so perfectly as well in the book of Acts. In the book of Acts, the apostle, historically speaking, is traveling through Greece, through Athens, and he sees all these different statues and worship places for the many different gods that the Greeks worshipped. And then he sees one which is not for a specific god at all. It's just a place of worship to the unknown God. So they left the door open that with all their different gods, they couldn't find real fulfillment or completion or salvation. So the door is open because there is some unknown, something we're not able to access yet. And Paul speaks to that, and his final speech concludes with this truth. And he, God, made from one every nation of man to live on all the face of the earth, having determined allotted periods and the boundaries of their habitation, that they should seek God in the hope that they might feel after him and find him. Yet he is not far from each one of us, for in him we live and move and have our being, as even some of your poets have said, for we are indeed his offspring. This is perfectly stated because he's speaking to the unknown God. And he's speaking about the only God. And he, God, made from one every nation of man to live on all the face of the earth, having determined allotted periods and the boundaries of their habitations, that they should seek God in the hope that they might feel after him and find him. Yet he is not far from each one of us. For in him we live and move and have our being, as even some of your poets have said, for we are indeed his offspring. You know, for the last, 3 or 5 years, the lessons I share have become more specific and less entertaining. And I'll tell you why. It's not, I would definitely want to have the ability to use film clips and music to support the ideas and feelings that are shared in the teachings of truth. However, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, there was a heavy crackdown by the industry, the entertainment industry, so that no one is permitted to use any film clip or any music that is copyrighted, by penalty of being taken off the live stream itself. So if I ever want to use any of that, I would have to turn off the camera so that it doesn't go out, because they have, it's all computerized, how they pick up on some, copyrighted material being used, and then you get a real gig. You might be cut off from your live stream audience for 3 months or more. So I used to be very entertaining. I used to have film clips and music, and there was a time when we had 1,000 people attending Unity here in Boulder on a Sunday. But all of that's just part of the situation. The other part is the COVID fear that was generated powerfully by the pharmaceutical companies that own most of the liberal media. And I don't have to try to convince you of that. You simply have to tune in to any of the liberal media and see how many pharmaceutical commercials take place, and there's 90% of them are all selling people drugs, all selling people the whole idea. They got away with the most extraordinary, limited thing that anybody could have gotten away with. They no longer have to test a pharmaceutical drug and prove that it has no really serious side effects. This is amazing. They simply tell you, they're required to tell you in their commercials, this particular drug may cause, shortness of breath, diarrhea, in some cases blindness, or it could kill you, or it has this side effect or that side effect. They have one with a pretty butterfly flying around that wants you to take this so you can finally sleep and have a good night's sleep. That is the most dangerous thing. If you hear the side effects on that, you wouldn't let that drug in your house. In fact, if you knew it was being sold in a pharmacy in your neighborhood, you'd leave town. But they got away with it. And you listen to the side effects on some of these drugs, it's beyond absurd. It's hilarious. But people are so desperately trying to feel good. That's all human beings are trying to do, is feel good. But they will shy away from the truth of God. They will shy away from the fact that they were created and they are not self-created, as the branch thinks it is self-created. So they will shy away from that because they are sold an illusion of being a strong, independent self. This is what America represents. A strong, individual, independent self. This is how you take charge of the world. You and John Wayne. John Wayne had that idea. So, here I am without the ability to entertain. Just sharing straight truth. This is like having straight alcohol without any chaser or orange juice or Coca-Cola. You know, somebody's already coughing over here. But you have one advantage. Here's your advantage. I have been involved with living these truths for over 40 years. And I know what it's like to feel good. Always. Always. Because I'm living from another level of consciousness. And people say, I guess, sometimes that I seem quiet or withdrawn. I don't have a lot of drama to share. The days of my drama are, I got over it. I live a very harmonious, wonderful, healthy, joyful life. Because I know how to feel good. And in order to feel good, you have to feel the presence of the intelligence that is living in you and through you. So, if you want to do me a favor, find some movies that have a spiritual theme that YouTube and the people overseeing the whole entertainment industry on television don't know about. I'm looking for more ways to entertain. You see, you have to entertain a certain number of people in order to be able to pay for what it costs to run this whole establishment. So there's a lot of people that will come for the entertainment for a long, long time, and they're needed. So I've got to find ways to entertain better so we can pay the bills and continue to share the truth that changes people's lives. Did you know that's true, that in any given bookstore, in our bookstore, we have so many books, and we don't have very many of them facing out. The reason is that there aren't very many books sold, except the ones that are popular and advertised and that you've heard about, or some author that is supposedly a super guru. So the rest of the books, but they're needed to be there. If you had only these bare shelves with a book here and then a book over there, people wouldn't even come into the bookstore. So you see all these things that we have to do in order to accommodate the masses of people that have been born and raised in a life that is unrewarding, unfulfilling, and they will cling to it. Because the illusion of the ego-centered self is that I'm right. My personal observations are correct. I see everything. from an objective point of view. In the illusion-driven world, in the thinking of the world, that is completely erroneous, not true at all. In the consciousness of someone who has taken to task his or her awareness, that can be true. And so, I'll get back to this without any entertainment. You know, maybe I will start. I used to dance a little. I used to be in theater. Maybe I could dance for a while. No, she'll tap, no. But let me tell you something about Norma and tap. If she starts tapping, there's no way to stop her. She's like a machine. She's a tapping crazy person. No, I'm going to get her to tap, but we'll have to do it on Sunday when we have the wood floor. We don't have all this paraphernalia here. So, A Course in Miracles is to the point on everything. This is A Course in Miracles being to the point. No entertainment. You know, A Course in Miracles doesn't have a lot of funny pictures in it, or things like that, or dramas. It just tells you the truth. God's will is your salvation. Would He not have given you the means to find it? If He wills you to have it, He must have made it possible and easy to obtain. Your brothers and sisters are everywhere. You do not have to seek far for salvation. Every minute and every second gives you a chance to save yourself. Do not lose these chances, not because they will not return, but because delay of joy is needless. God wills you perfect happiness now. Is it possible that this is not also your will? And is it possible that this is not also the will of your brothers and sisters? Consider then that in this joint will you are all united, and in this only. There may be disagreement on anything else, but not on this. This then is where peace abides, and you abide in peace when you so decide. Yet you cannot abide in peace unless you accept the at-one-ment, because the at-one-ment is the way to peace. I'll read that again. This concept of the at-one-ment. Let me share the affirmation. I use different affirmations from A Course in Miracles. Let me see if I can. I'm going to bring up the affirmation I'm presently using. I accept the joy peace of the one self awareness. I accept the joy peace of the one self awareness. This sometimes I have to bring to mind when something comes up. I don't drift. I don't want to drift back into the drama of insanity in the world. So I sustain the joy peace of knowing the one self awareness. So I'll read this to you again. God's will is your salvation. Would He not have given you the means to find it if He wills you to have it? He must have made it possible and easy to obtain. Your brothers and sisters are everywhere. You do not have to seek far for salvation. What that line is right there is, it means in the life each one of us is living, you have people. And there are some people who you feel a certain magnanimous feeling of acceptance, even happiness, in some cases love for. And then there are others who you don't have such a magnanimous feeling for. You have limited feelings toward them because of something they appear to have been or have done something, and so now you hold them in derision, and you hold them separate and apart from feeling okay about them being around, knowing that God will bring them home eventually. Do you believe what I just said? This is the only reason why we have to work at salvation. Because we have collected in our own awareness limited perceptions of different people, even just the way they look, or their size, their shape, their culture, their color. So we have to rise above that into the consciousness divine, giving everybody, that space to be whoever it is they are, knowing that they will discover what is necessary and needed in time, and we don't have to hold grievances against anyone. In fact, the one thing that will be helpful if you don't take that affirmation that I've shared with you, take this affirmation about, just check yourself out. If you want to find joy, happiness, and peace, no matter what's going on, just take this idea. Let miracles of acceptance replace all grievances. May miracles of acceptance replace all grievances. You're going to find your life getting harmonious, peaceful. You're going to feel so much better that you've entered into the will of God. So I'll finish this up and then we'll meditate. Every minute and every second gives you a chance to save yourself. Do not lose these chances, not because they will not return, but because delay of joy is needless. In other words, don't lose the chances to forgive, release, have compassion. Don't lose them. Don't give them up. Don't cling to a drama of being right. They're definitely wrong. They need to be judged. Just surrender that madness. That's all you've been conditioned to, is madness. That's madness. That's the cause of all the war and the sickness and the hate. You don't want that. You don't want to be there. You want to get into this dimension of the divine. So do not lose these chances, not because they will not return, but because delay of joy is needless. God wills you perfect happiness now. Is it possible that this is not also your will? And is it possible that this is not also the will of your brothers and sisters? Consider then that in this joint will, you all, what it's saying, in this joint will, everybody really is seeking harmony, happiness, peace, health. And that is what everyone is seeking, and they are seeking it almost unknowingly, because the mind is always aware of not feeling good or feeling good. When it doesn't feel good, it tries to figure out how to improve so it will feel good. But because of its conditioning in the world, it thinks that's more money. I need more money to feel good. So I can really set up my life so that others will have to meet my personal expectations. This is insanity, okay? It's all insanity. There may be disagreement on anything else, but not on this. This, then, is where peace abides, and you abide in peace when you so decide. Yet you cannot decide in peace unless you accept the at-one-ment, because the at-one-ment is the way to peace. Unless you accept that in everything you look upon and everything you see, there is the spark of God seeking to be expressed. Even though it may not yet be expressed, that is what is happening in every life you see around you. And there are bad choices and limited ideas and false understanding. And all you have to do is say, I'm not going to participate in it. I give you permission to be whoever you want to be, knowing that you will come to the light sooner or later. All right, Norma, instead of the bowl tonight, would you mind tap dancing?
My tap shoes in the other room.
See, they want you to tap. I told them
I'm going to do that one of these days.
we're gonna no, we might do it Sunday, okay? We'll set up a little space. All
I
right,
have to bring in Barry Manilow, be my piano player.
that's right. You should have stuck with him because we would be a lot better off financially.
I tried, but I met you.
You met me, and then your life went downhill. Okay, we're going to meditate, I guess. Just take a couple of deep breaths. And the way we recognize the presence of this oneness, we take the name of God in our meditation sometimes. And so that's what we will do tonight. Bringing the mind gently into the awareness that the name of God is a name we all share and use, although for a long time we have taken that name in vain. We have connected it to limited ideas. I am not healthy. I am not capable. I am not worthy. I am afraid. Okay, we're leaving that behind. Knowing that it is a creative name of the Creator. So we take it gently into the mind. I am in you, you are in me. I am the truth, the life, and the way. I am the way of true life. Be still and know that I am God. I am in you, you are in me. I am the way, the truth, and the life that will make you free. Be still and know that I am God. I am the way. I am the truth. I am the life. I am the way of true life. Be still and know that I am God. in this refined level of consciousness, we will offer the names of those that have been submitted to our prayer list. As Norma calls the name, just let the thought, love, go to that name.
Kelsey Verdinen. Jacqueline Kirby. Kelsey Verdinen. Kay. Zoe Wilkie. Ellie. Lorlina. Jenny. Jim and Wanda. Madison Bear. Sandy Spahn. Diane Bendokis. Sue H. Aunt Shannon. Grandmother Bonnie Greenman. Jason. Danae. Jessica. Jim. River. Elsie. Matt. Holly. Spencer and Father. Billy. Frank. Nuvis. Antony. Keller Henrich. Davy. Joe Joyox. The Unity Community. Stamak family. Petra. Miles. Tess. Trauma survivors. Lynn Nichols. Sherry. Family. Erica Joy. Stephanie Herberts. Randy. Heather. Cole. Jace. Canyon Thies. Juniper Thies. Tanner. Christopher McCarthy. Tom and Elaine Sullivan. Elaine McCarthy. Rebecca Abrakis. Judy and Tom. Ben. Lila. Kyle. Taylor. Robert Russell. Diane Bendokis. Red Carpet Pet Care. Lori Martell. Kingston and Kathleen. Sarah. Kathy Bray. Tom and Judy. Kieran. All immigrants everywhere. All of God's children. Brandon. Sweet Pea. Tate. Bonnie and Towie. Israel, Palestinian, Hamas solution. Sandy Bigtree. You can call out a name at this time if you'd like to do so.
Steve Taylor. Sandy Spahn. Dan Spahn. D. Matthew and family.
Shad.
S. Casey and family. S. Daniel and family.
The Edgar Casey Foundation.
Sandra Perko.
You see this healing light surrounding the prayer box and all the people's names that have been submitted throughout the month. We see them healed physically, mentally, and spiritually.
Let us take a moment now to embrace the vision of the new heaven established by the awakened, enlightened humanity. We see this joy and peace of the awareness of the one in all and the all in one the sacred conditioning of all life. And we see this consciousness rising in the awareness of everyone sharing this Boulder community with us. And this divine awareness rising in the consciousness of everyone sharing the state of Colorado with us. And it's spreading to all of those sharing these United States of America with us. And it moving to every nation, every culture, every creed, every race in the world, establishing the divine awareness of the one in all, the all in one. And we see this establishing a new harmony and a new peace, a new understanding with mankind and all the creatures on planet Earth. As we pray, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And God is love. To this we say, Amen. We will take an offering for unity now. We're going to need some light on the sanctuary. There we go. Bring it up. That's good. And so to all of you watching this live stream, I say thank you for whatever gifts you make, donations you make to Unity of Boulder. And I invite you to show up occasionally in the physical here at the Unity Church Center in Boulder. And to everyone, just bring to mind, into your hands, that gift you're making to Unity of Boulder, and let's bless it with this offering prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And so it is. Amen.
I am spirit, I am peace. I can feel the joy of release. Let my body go, let my sounds gently flow. I am one with all. I am spirit, I am peace.
Join me now, please. We dedicate this tithe to the will and the work of the Spirit of truth, the Spirit available to each of us, the Spirit that joins all of us. We dedicate this tithe to the victory of the Spirit of truth. Amen.
The gift and bookstore is open after every one of our services, and you should walk through there because it's not just a bookstore. It's really got the most incredible gifts in there for any occasion. And just to see, even if you don't buy right now, just to see what's there so that you know in the future, this is where I want to buy a scarf. This is where I want to buy a piece of jewelry. This, you know, and we've got the tea and the cookies available. And we just want you to enjoy that because it's the best kept secret in Boulder. And Heather does such a great job purchasing all the stuff and doing such a display. I mean, when you walk in there, it's like you're in heaven. So please do go in there and walk around.
We have tea and cookies for those of you who would like to stay and chat as you go through these doors to your left. And do you have any other
I also want to say that we have a meditation room downstairs. How many people know we have that room downstairs? It is the most incredible room. It's at the bottom of the stairs. You just go down the stairs and you just kind of look to your right and you walk in and it's like all carpeted with levels and it's got all the earths. An artist did earth around. We're always going to heaven. When right here we have the most beautiful planet ever. So you sit there with this most incredible artwork that was done by a young man who lived in Boulder. And it's open from Tuesday and Friday, through Friday, 9 to 4, and then Sunday until 1 o'clock. So please, go downstairs and look at that room and say, that's where I want to spend some time. Yeah. Okay.
All right. To all of you, have a beautiful evening.